Welcome to the Diverse Boss Podcast, where we will help you dig deeper into your life's purpose so that you can live and not just exist. We're your hosts,
Jen,
Mayra,
and Uche.
We'll be keeping it real about everyday life where anything goes.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Diverse Boss. Today we're going to talk about a pretty important topic to me, and I'm pretty sure the ladies can agree. Putting your value in success. So we're going to dive right in and let Jen take over and tell us her story.
So the reason why we picked this topic is because we had a conversation at my house where I confessed to the ladies. If you haven't heard my story before, at 18, I tried to commit suicide. At 28, it was a heavy thought on my mind. Then I started therapy, and I started to realize, well, my therapist actually told me, and I started to neglect. I was like, no, that's not true. But she literally told me that I put all of my value as a person in my success. If I fail, that's when depression hits. If I fail, I don't feel worthy of certain things. And so she was telling me, like, you need to tell people around you. So I told my friends. And to know that they also, in their own way, dealt with putting their value in success and not feeling worthy of certain things because you failed one time. Mm-hmm. And we can get on here and be like, oh, failure is a part of success. But then I go home and I deal with failure.
By yourself.
And I'm crying and I'm like, but I told the people.
Eating ice cream.
I told the people success is failure is a part of success. You gotta fail to
Yeah.
Y'all, when it happened, it's like, like some people can deal with failure. For me, when it I'm telling you, so everybody know I trade stocks. I could be $10,000 in profit. I lose 50 cents. I'm losing my mind. I'll call Uche crying. I can't believe I lost money today. She's like, well, Jen, are you still in profit for the week? Yeah, but that don't matter. I lost 50 cents today. Like, and I y'all look at me like I'm stupid. but
I'm looking at you like you cope with shopping. So she'll lose 50 cents and then she'll go spend $300 on who knows like what.
She told me, oh, last month I'm so excited. I made $12,000. I'm like, okay, good. Then she lost $5,000 one day, just one day this month. And she called me. She's like, well, this has been terrible. I hit rock bottom. I'm like, wait, hold on. You made $12,000 last month? And you just lost $5,000 once? And you're like, what rock bottom?
Uche, stop talking. I know it's a podcast. Be quiet. But no, and we all deal with it certain ways. But let me tell you why it stems that way. Uh-huh. So everybody knows, since I was a kid, I always knew what I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. The female Warren Buffett. Period. There was no question about it since I was 10 years old. What I've discovered in therapy is that the older I got, the further I got away from being 10, I was not closer to being that female Warren Buffett. Mm-hmm. So as years went on, I started to feel like I was a failure. At 18, I was nowhere near it. Going to college, not going to the college I wanted to go to, made me feel like a failure. Being 25, great thing I moved to Houston by myself, succeeding in that, but I was still nowhere near what I said I wanted to be since I was 10. Then I get 28, still nowhere near it. The older I get and the farther that dream moves away. That's where the depression hits. That's where I don't feel as if I'm working as hard. But everybody else around you like, oh, you're doing so great. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way when I go to my apartment and I'm not living at the apartment I want to stay in. Or driving the car I want to drive. Now I am getting a little closer. But when you put your value in it, any little failure
will trigger you.
Hello. Mm-hmm. Tell them, Mayra.
It'll get you. It'll get you down, and it gets in your spirit. I've actually been dealing with, I'm kind of in like a transitional phase, I like to call it, in my life when it comes to my career. Because even at 30 years old, I'm still trying to figure out where career-wise am I headed. Mm-hmm. Yes, I graduated college and I have a business degree, but how can I apply that business degree to my life, like to further my life? I can stay in corporate America and, help somebody else increase their business, create profit and all of that. or I could apply that to myself. But is that what I really want to do? I'm in that phase where I'm kind of like weighing my options and, you know, which road I want to take. And I know that it came a lot from, like when we first started the podcast, we told you guys we all used to work together. And then I left the company. And I noticed myself, because when I got into the new team, it's like a sales-based type of company that we work for. And when I got to the team, I was really successful early on. Like, I was top performer always. I got, you know, top revenue all the time. My commission was amazing. Like, I was top everything. And I let that get to my head. And I let it like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm great because I do these things. Like, I'm amazing because I sold this much, or because I helped this many customers. My commission is this much. And because I think they share the commission with the entire company to create that kind of like competition, it blew my ego up even more. And so when I went through a rough patch and I wasn't doing that, and I'm going to admit I was at the very bottom for a while, because my mind was kind of like, once I failed 1 month, it snowballed into the next month because I was no longer top performer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, then who am I? If I'm not the best, then who am I? Which then led to other problems, which then just led to a disaster, and then I left. That was just a little piece of why I left. Anyways, so I ended up leaving, and now at this new job, I am more of a, you kind of work by yourself in a way. So you really don't have a comparison to somebody else, but I still look for that validation. I still look for my boss to come in and be like, you're one of the best, you know, caseworkers that we have here. Or I still look for that validation. And I had to tell myself that whether I succeed in that particular job or not, that doesn't define who I am. I am still a successful person based on what I've accomplished in my life up to this point. I was the first person in my family to graduate high school, which then became the first person to graduate college. I'm looking to pursue my master's degree. Like, there's so many things that I've accomplished so much that make me who I am, that I have decided to refuse to let a career who might not be my forever career define who I am. You know what I mean? Because I felt like I was just putting all of that into me, and it was affecting me so much personally. I was getting so anxious because I was no longer what I thought was successful in corporate America. So, I mean, it's hard, and it's easier said than done, definitely, right. Because, you know, it's kind of like how do you say it? Like, your business life is so much of your personal life at the same time. Even though you want to separate the two, it's very hard because you spend a majority of your life at
building
work.
a business.
You know what I mean? Like, you spend so much time with those people that you want them to see you as a role model. You want all of these things. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that it defines who you are. I don't see it that way.
And Mayra, I'm really going to start by saying that I read a positive psychology book, and they said 5 things that you should not let determine your value. Your value is your net worth, your physical appearance.
That's Mayra.
Who you know. What you do.
That's fine. Yeah, that's
what you do and what you achieve. That should not determine your self-worth. And you want to say something?
I don't know if you think, but do they give you the example of what you should put?
Yeah.
Tell me that.
Well, if you read go to Positive Psychology, it's online. They really break it down.
Psychology. Okay.
Positive psychology, yes.
Okay.
So the thing is, if you constantly find yourself trying to prove your worth to someone or through something or with something, that means you have completely forgotten your value. Your self-worth is your value. And what determines your self-worth is your innate abilities, what you can do inside of you. See, I've been there. I can honestly, I rarely say things proudly, but I can honestly tell you now that I've been there, and right now, I don't let anything determine my self-worth. I'm at that stage right now.
And I'll give Uche that.
Yeah.
Because I've been through the worst of it all. So I've gotten to that point that nothing, what you say, what you do, what I accomplish, nothing. Because this affects your relationship with yourself, your business relationship, with your spouse, your friends, because you are trying to constantly prove yourself.
Yeah.
And then it leads to maybe you having to lie about something. And when they find out that you've been dishonest, it ruins your relationship. Or you're saying, okay, when I do this, that means when I get to this stage, then I know that I've made it. Yeah. Then I'll be proud of myself.
That was so me.
And you fail, you go home, you lash out at your husband. You lash out at your spouse.
Yep.
And that ruins the relationship.
Yep.
You're supposed to go home and tell your spouse, this doesn't work, and lean on them and not lash out.
Yeah.
Because you know that you tried. The fact that you even tried that in the first place, a lot of people didn't even try.
Yeah.
But you tried and you failed. You should be proud of yourself. The process is what determines it.
And that's so crazy that you said that, because that was me. Like, my whole, it took me, I want to say about 10 years to get my bachelor's degree, because I was so back and forth. And I just kept telling myself, the minute that I graduate, that's the day that I know I'm going to be the happiest, day of my life. I made it. This is done. I kid you not, up to graduation, I was, getting ready, and I was maybe I'll get excited when I'm there. And I'm sitting through the ceremony, and I'm, hearing people talk, and I'm well, maybe when they call my name. And I'm, in line, and I'm waiting, and they call my name. I walk across stage, I get my paper, they take my picture, I walk back to my seat, and I'm that's it? That was what I was looking forward to? That's it? And then I went out to lunch with my family, and then the next day, it felt weird not having to go to class, and I was I feel like I'm supposed to be happier about this. Right. But I put all of my eggs in that one basket, and when it got here, I was no, this is not, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It didn't fulfill me like I expected it to. Yeah. And then I had nothing else to rely on, so I'm okay, now what? You know,
that's the thing. Depending on external validation, that will make you miserable.
And that's and because I was rushing to get to that day, I didn't enjoy my college career as much as I should have. And so now I'm if I would have just enjoyed it, maybe graduation would have been better. It was gonna get here regardless. But I was in such a hurry to do it, and I was okay, I gotta get done, and I got it, and then it was nope, not what I thought.
See, and I'm with Mayra, I think everything fell apart when I turned 18, because as a kid, I was the good kid-ish. Good-ish. Because, a lot of stuff I did, I just didn't get caught. But I was the good kid-ish. And I had the best grades. I had my brother, loved my brothers, but they weren't the model students. Let's be honest. And then, I had cousins. No shade at all. I love my brothers. They defend me. I love them. They're great now. But then I had cousins that weren't the model kids either. So it was Jen getting the good grades. It was Jen staying out of trouble-ish. And so everybody praised me for that. And I was put on this pedestal, I feel, that, okay, all through elementary school, I had all A's. All through middle school, all A's. Graduated high school with a 4.0. That was me. Then high school ended, and I had no clue how to keep up
with that appearance.
And the best time and the worst time was going to family reunions. Yeah. Because I love being around my family. But then they started asking questions I had no answers to. It was cool when you asked me in high school, what you doing? You still doing the drill team? You still dancing? Yes, I'm still doing all those things. Now I'm in college. I dropped out of college. They expected me to go to college. They expected me to graduate. Now people looking at me. Then I started businesses. Those businesses failed. So the next family reunion, they're asking questions well, what happened to this business you're doing? Well, I started another one. Then they started asking when is it going to fail? Or when you going to stop it? That is the worst.
Yeah.
To be, and one thing is, I don't blame my family for that. I don't, because they just asked the question. It was what was in me. Yes, it was what was in me that made me angry, that made me not want to go to these family gatherings.
Yeah.
And it was one time that when I left college, because I tried to commit suicide, then I finally decided to leave college because that was a depressing place for me.
Yeah.
And I get home, and one of my dad's sisters calls him and tells him she ended up like that because y'all spoiled her. And I was just
that bothers me so much.
What? At the moment, it got me down. But then it was I worked so hard, because I want to repay them back for everything they gave me. Like, now you see me, but look at your kids. Like, we ain't gonna talk about them. Like, I ain't gonna put my family business out there. That's stay at house. I'm not gonna say that.
I said what I said.
I'm just saying, look at your kids and look at my grandma kids.
Yeah.
Like, it was hurtful. And if I wasn't going through what I was going through, it probably wouldn't hurt as much.
Right.
But already being depressed, trying to commit suicide, like, it was hurtful, and I still hold on to that, and I'm never gonna let it go. Yeah. I'm just saying, but it's all about being like securing myself.
Yeah.
Like, I had these dreams since I was a kid. I'm working on it. I'm still there, y'all. I still have losing days, and I'll cry. They know I'll shut down. I'm working. I'm still in therapy. I have to go for the next 6 months.
3 days.
Yeah.
You're like, you alright?
I still gotta go for the next 6 months. She working on me. I'm just saying. But it's easier now. Because I know that their opinions don't matter.
Right.
I know that my parents worked hard to give me the life they gave me. Yeah. I don't say I was privileged, but I had a better life than most.
I agree.
And one thing people gotta understand, and we're spiritual on here, so I'm gonna say it, the devil comes in the way he wants to. He couldn't come through my family because we were super close. He couldn't come through money because my family was hard working. The only way that he could come was through attacking my mind. And that was the easiest way.
Yeah.
Making me feel like I wasn't worth succeeding, or the things that people would say that made me feel like my self-worth was in my success and I wasn't succeeding, so I was worth nothing. Why was I waking up every day? I'm not achieving anything. And then you get that glimmer of hope, like Mayra said, when we go to work and you be at the top, but then you got to go home. And you're like, I don't even want to work a 9 to 5, so dang. Like, it's great to be on top over there, but I'm at home and I'm not achieving anything. Yeah. So I don't have any advice. I can't tell y'all, like.
The thing
I don't think we figured it out.
I don't figured it out.
Weekend. They will spit you and chew you.
Definitely.
So you have to build your value inwardly, because people out there will not help you. They would even make it worse. So I like not that I like what you said. I like that you brought this up, that when you go to family gatherings, that is like a lot of people go through that. You know, the family, they want to compare your family with other family.
But I hate that. That annoys me so much.
Yes, but when you really like know your worth inside of you, regardless of what they say, it's gonna hurt at that moment. Like, how dare you say that? But that's it. It just drops it there. You know, you don't just let it get to you, because you know. One thing that people need to realize is that we are all uniquely created. Your creator gave you something. We all have talents. The only thing, if you haven't discovered it, then you haven't discovered it. You have to start on the journey to discover it, because we are all uniquely created. The thing though, like, family too contributes to all these things as well, because my father, I love him so much, but he wanted me to be a professor. I've always wanted to become an entrepreneur, like a businesswoman like him, because he's a businessman too. But he wanted me to be a professor because he wanted me to like lecture in the university. I don't know why, but maybe that's what he wanted to do. So he was really serious. So I went to school for him. I read so hard, I read. So I got the certificate for him as soon as I came out top in my university, and I dropped the certificate. I'm like, yeah, here you go. He's like, no, I wanted to do your doctorate degree because I got a scholarship to do doctorate degree. I'm like, Daddy, I'm married. I'm out. Bye. I've done your part. Now it's my time to shine. Luckily, I had time on my side though, and that's another thing too. Because we keep saying we're 30, we haven't accomplished it. We're 40. It's never too late. Yeah. The time we keep comparing ourselves with other people. Oh, I listened to the TV and that guy said he's 30 and he's a millionaire. So what? That's his time. Just like I said, we're all uniquely created. We have our own time. Your time might not be my time. My time might not be your time. Like, just go with your own pace. If you use your own clock to read another person's clock, you sink deep. Yeah. So you just need to know what works for you and don't care about what they say. Of course, listen to what they say. There's always good criticism, and take it.
Take into consideration what they say.
Exactly. But don't let the bad things deter you. No.
Yeah. Have y'all thought about like looking over your life and seeing the things that you went through, and it's so vital now to have went through those things.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And I was thinking, like, okay, I learned this. Like, it was hell going through them, but I learned so much going through them, and I'm like, dang, if I would have got here and not have learned that lesson, I would have failed. Like,
that's true.
It's hard in the process because I don't know what the story gonna be in 5 years from now because it's horrible right now. But I'm just true. Like,
that is so true.
Learning. Yeah. It's just all about the learning, like the process. And I'm like, oh, when I was 18, going through this, talking to young girls about suicide and knowing the triggers and seeing them in like cousins and family members, I know that. Yeah. But I had to go through that to know it and to help others. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, your story,
it does help.
It helps others. Like going through depression, Mayra, not knowing the career. You could help other women figure it out. Once you figure it out. And I'm talking about it. I'm trying to live it right now. Right. I'm talking about it. I'm talking to myself. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking in the mirror right now.
We're just communicating.
Okay, so I remember when I first relocated to the United States, I had to go learn, like, watching movies, because before I relocated, I wasn't watching American movie. I did not care.
What was the first American movie you saw?
I can't even remember. I honestly can't remember. I watched in Nigeria though, but it was like once in a while. Like that wasn't me. My husband was always watching, so he knew all those things, but I did not. So I had to start watching to learn how to speak. Like you
and
guys.
to this day, you're so funny because isn't she saying like, you Americans?
Yeah, so to learn how to speak like you guys, and I started forcing myself to learn, and I started getting things like the job I worked before. They were very brutal, so they were like, "Oh, your accent is terrible" and all that. Like they would tell me to my face, and I'll go home and cry and all that. One day I was like, I'm just gonna be myself. I don't care. You just have to. I'm trying to learn how to understand what you're saying. So you should learn how to understand what I'm saying. So I started to be myself. I didn't care about trying to speak the accent. Yeah. Not until then did I have to start to get compliments. Oh, your accent is cute, or it's unique, or stuff like that. I'm like, it's even easier this way. Like, why would I force myself to be someone else? So that really helped me. Just like you said, your story helped. Yeah. That helped me build. Now, even if you say anything negative about my accent, I'll tell you yes. Of course, my accent is different. And that's what makes me me. Like, you might not like it, but I like it. And I have people that like it, too.
Okay, honey.
So yeah, your story helps you. Okay. Your story, your journey just helps you to get to that stage.
Who are you right now?
She done put on this shirt with the collar and don't know how to act, child. Okay.
I should have seen
her. Did you see me and Mayra look at each other when you said somebody was talking about your accent? I just feel like me and Mayra would have been at that workplace. Let me tell you something. We're super protective.
These people were terrible.
We're super protective of Uche. Let me tell you something.
Super protective.
Y'all don't talk about Uche because we're coming for you.
That is so true.
Like, can we talk about it?
I can't fight, but my sister can fight for me.
Even in the workplace, you don't come for Uche. We had an incident at work where yes, Uche was wrong. But this person came over looking for Uche. Like, where's Uche?
Where's Uche? I'm like,
what you looking for Uche for?
Like, well, she told this person this and this and this. Okay, and so what were you gonna do if she was here?
See, get y'all some good friends because we was ready.
She saw me afterwards. She never said anything.
She
about
knew better.
Hello.
She was like, "Hi, Uche." I'm like, "Yeah, hi."
Yeah, go ahead and speak because you gotta speak to her. We playing.
Like, I cannot fight, but I'm gonna call my sisters.
We playing, but we not playing.
It actually happened, and we would have been fired. But it would have been worth it. But we would have been fired.
Don't come for Uche.
Don't come for Uche.
You need to find yourselves.
See, and I can talk.
See, you thought I didn't like you. Goodbye. Bye.
See, let me tell you.
Bye.
And we make fun of Uche accent because it's super funny to us. But if y'all laugh, it's a problem.
Right. Only we can laugh. Only we can laugh.
Only we can. And she still be tripping me up about the stuff she's saying. And I'm super happy that you're super, like, confident in your accent and your heritage. Because some of the stuff, she make me feel stupid. I'm like, she be saying stuff like... And she's like,
so I see something and like, no, that's not how to say. This is how to say it. And we're going to go through that practice over and over again.
Y'all, don't let y'all history define y'all. That's the principle. Because, like, Uche had me feeling so slow. And I'm from here. And she say stuff, and I'm like,
Come
Okay.
again? One more time for me. What?
That's why we diverse, because I don't understand.
See, honestly, it's okay to say, oh, your accent is strange. I get it, but telling me to my face that it's terrible, because you don't have a right to say that. What's your definition of terrible?
And I learned Uche speaks 4 languages. She's quadrilingual. Yes. Quadrilingual. See, and I learned a new word. I'm smart. Uche speaks 4 languages. Me and Mayra smart. See? Diverse. There it is.
Ladies or something else.
So I'm telling y'all, Uche got this shirt on, y'all, and she don't know how to act.
We need to start, like, maybe coming soon, we should start, like, vlogging.
Because I want y'all to understand Uche.
So
okay, let me tell y'all Uche. I admire Uche in a lot of stuff. Business, life, family life. She's like my guardian angel.
Yeah.
Every day. I always tell Uche she's my guardian angel. However, Uche, confidence, in the dictionary, Uche will be there.
Right.
Uche switched shirts and she just we did a photo shoot. Then she switched shirts. She want to do another one. And she had, so if y'all see the last episode, look at her personality that episode.
I'm a fashionista though, so I have to always represent.
Okay.
Yeah. And on that note,
don't put your value in success.
Don't put your value in success. Have confidence in yourself. Be Uche. Be a Uche.
Be a Uche. Hashtag be a Uche.
Be a Uche. Oh, yes. Okay, so this week,
be a Uche.
In the comments, tell us how you were Uche. Hashtag be a Uche.
Oh my God.
Okay. Get you a shirt with a bow.
Or even if it doesn't have a bow, just get you a shirt. Get you
a nice shirt. Get you a shirt from Uche Exclusive.
And be a Uche.
Be a Uche. Hashtag be a Uche. That's success.
Oh my God.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you guys and stay tuned to many more projects that we're working on. Bye, guys.
Bye.